Hey, this is Dave and Rich again from housebearings.com, and today we're going to show you how to hang door pulls on your cabinets. First things first, one of the things I've already done is I've marked this particular handle as one I want to use for measuring. This is 1 inch from here to here, and so I've got a little mark there, so it's a measuring thing. The tricky part of this, we went and bought a couple of these guides, but these guides are fairly useless because we have 5-inch pulls and the maximum in these was 4. Well, we didn't know that till it was too late. So anyway, that does us no good. So you want to do this in a way that's going to provide you the most amount of consistency. First things first, make sure your doors are level with each other, especially if you're going to have pulls on either side from each other. The second thing is, now you want the bottom or top of your pull to be even with this part of the cabinet. So you want this line to line right up with the edge of the cabinet frame, right across there. And then you want these to be in the middle of this side of the frame. So that gives you a way to line it up. Now the holes are dead center of the back of the pulls like that. And so we've already figured this out, but that's part of the deal. We know these are 5 inches apart. Okay, I'm lining my pull up right here with the bottom of this horizontal frame. And then I just make a mark on the cabinet. And that gives me the center of the hole. But now I want to make sure it's right in the center of this portion of the frame. And so I already measured that, and it's 1 1/8 inches. Is the center, and that's right there. So I marked that. Okay, so that gives me my bottom, the bottom hole. Now I also know that mine are 5 inches apart. I never trust tape measures because of this deal here. This moves, and so what I'm doing is putting the hole on the 3-inch mark right there. And then I'm going to go up 5 inches to the 8, and that's where my other hole is going to be. Now I want to make sure that that's centered, so I come across here. It's the right height, and I got lucky. It's right there. And that's my 1 1/8 mark. All right, so now the next thing, when you try to drill a hole for these screws, the drill can wander a bit. So you can use a punch or a nail to just mark where that drill needs to start. And then now you can just drill right straight into that. And then you keep your drill horizontal, of course. One thing about measuring what size drill you want, these are the screws that go to the back of the pulls. And so if you lay this screw over it, you can still see the back of you can still see the drill bit from around the screw. So it's just a little bit bigger than the screw. That gives you a little bit of adjustment room. But that's kind of how to gauge it. Now, so long as your drawers are level from across the bottom, like this, there you go. And now I know I can come over, and I want to go to the center of that hole. Come over 1 1/8 inches. And go to the center of the hole. 1 1/8 inches. And that's good to go. That's our center. Then repeat, same thing. I'm going to mark it with a nail. And if for some odd reason one of these is off, if for whatever reason you drilled it and it was off a little bit, you can create yourself a little bit of slack to adjust the handles up and down by making one of the holes, one side of the pulls bigger. And that'll give you a little play in that handle to better adjust it. But to avoid that, just make the measurement right the first time and you don't have to worry about that silliness. All right, so there you go. That's how you do a cabinet door. Next, we're going to show you how to do a drawer. Okay, we just showed you how to put a handle on a door. This is a little more difficult to put one on a drawer. On the door, you're on the frame of the cabinet, or the cabinet door, and now we're dealing with the recess part. So it's just a little bit different. So basically, for our purposes, we're measuring each hole in the center of each hole there, and where it would be centered in this recess part of this drawer. And so we know it's at 5.5. So I'm just making a vertical mark at 5.5 on both sides. And then I double check to make sure that my width, I always like to go off the 10 because tape measures can lie sometimes with, that's 8 inches, hole to hole, center to center. So I want to see 8 inches here to know that I'm close, and there we go. So now I've got the right side to side dimension for it to be in line. This is 3 inches, and this is where it can get a little squirrely because these metal things and tape measures, see how that moves? Rarely do you see a tape measure that doesn't happen to pretty quickly. But I'm pressing this up against here, and I'm going to go at the 1.5 right there, and go at the 1.5 right there, and then I'm going to flip it over just to make sure that my tape measure is not lying to me, and if it is, I can correct it. But that looks good, and that looks good. All right, so then I want to connect these two lines, and just wherever they cross. So where they cross, I take my hammer, and what I'm doing is basically I'm just starting. You could use I'm just using a nail. I'm just finding a spot where I want the drill bit to go into. All right, so I'm gonna make sure I'm not gonna hit anything inside the drawer. And that nail hole that I used, now I can just rest the tip of that bit in there, and I'll get a good start. You got to keep this drill level when you make these holes. Okay, now one other thing is these screws are only about 1 inch long. But if you look down this way, even when they're recessed in, they're not going to go all the way through this board. So what we've done is we're going to do a countersink hole, I guess, with this bit. And I've already put tape on it to give me an approximate depth measurement on there. So I know when I'm getting deep, I don't want to go all the way through this and create a blemish. So I'm only going part of the way into the back side so the screw head will fit inside there. Okay, and see now when the head is in there, the head will go into this, fit in that hole, so that when we put it in there, it'll reach right through to the handle. Same thing on this side. Okay. Take the screws, put them in. Screws, put them in. All right, so I got my impact drill. I'm just gonna, impact driver, I wanna go ahead and put in the screws through the holes. And now there's just enough of the screw sticking through that will bite onto the handle. I'm not going crazy on tightening these. Just a little bit. And now we look and see if it's level. That looks darn good. Every once in a while you get one that, you know, it's hard to be perfectly level. And if one side's a little higher, you can go in and give that hole a little bit of wiggle room by re-drilling it and then adjust it down, because the screws will hold it perfect once you finally tighten them. So that's it. Thanks a lot for watching us put on handles on the kitchen. We've got a few more to go and we'll be done. If you have a comment, be sure and leave us a comment below. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We have lots of videos on the way, and we like to make sure that you guys get first look at them. Go ahead and click the bell, and if you click the bell, YouTube will shoot you the video as soon as we're done. Thanks a lot for viewing, and we'll see you next time.